Hello students, welcome back to the online sessions of the Material Science and Metallurgy. Myself Vivek Parikh. So, we will be starting with our new unit that is known as a non-destructive testing. So, this is the very one of the important units which we are going to discuss, that is known as a non-destructive testings. Testings, they are the one of the most important factors on which the different types of the material depends. Why? Because in the production, testing is the most important part. So here we will be discussing about the non-destructive testing. So the question will arise that how many types of the testings are possible. So for that thing there are two types of the testings which can be done on the material. Out of that thing, the first one that is known as an destructive testing and the second one which is known as a non-destructive testing. So now let us begin this chapter, and with that let us discuss the different types of the methods which are there for the non-destructive testing. So starting with the first one, what do you mean by the term non-destructive testing? Basically it is a method or it is a testing method in which we are going to introduce or we are going to for the testing on the material without creating any damage on the material. That means without any harm on the material, whatever the test we are performing on the material, that is known as a non-destructive testing. Clear? So without any change or without any dimension change or effect on the material, we are going to give the result about the testing with the help of the non-destructive test. For what reason we are using this? This method is used to detect the defects which are there inside the material. That means for this testing method, we will be able to come to know that where the defect is actually occurring. That means the exact location of the defect can be found out with the help of this non-destructive method. Clear? So the question will be arising that what is the major difference between the DT and NDT, that is destructive testing and non-destructive testing. Let us discuss the very first, as the name suggests, that the tests are done on the material directly. Here the tests are made on the objects, that is indirectly. Now what will happen in a destructive testing? We are going for the destruction of the material. That means by after applying a test on the material, what will happen? Your test specimen will be damaged in any of the way. But whereas in non-destructive testing, after the testing has been done, your material or your sample is safe and there is no type of the deformations or the changes will be occurring inside the material. That is your non-destructive test. Only one test can be done on a one sample. Why? Because there after the destructive testing there will be a change, or what you will do, that means you will deform the material. That means your surface or anything will be harmed. Here multiple tests can be done on the one sample because we are not damaging the material. So what will happen? The same specimen we can use for the different types of the testing. Testing is not possible in working condition. Why? Whatever the thing, whatever the machine it is in a working condition, then you cannot use or you cannot do the testing on that direct material. Why? Because it will harm the material, and as a result what will happen? There will be a failure of the material. But whereas in a non-destructive testing, testing is possible in working condition. That means we can directly conduct the testing on that working sample also. Measurements are quantitative. That means more number of tests can be done with the help of the destructive testing. That means a quantity, it is based on the quantity purpose. That means more amount of tests can be done. That means time taken will be less. Whereas measurements are qualitative. Qualitative, that means quality. We will be discussing about the quality for the non-destructive testing. That means it will give the results depending upon the qualities. Measurements, they are direct and reliable. By doing any of the destructive testing, you will directly get the property of the material. That means if you are performing, let us take an example of the hardness or a tensile strength, what will happen? It will directly give you the value of that particular thing. Whereas here measurements, they are the indirect. That means it will not give you any measurement, it will only give you the indication that there is a defect inside the material. So that you have to understand that the properties will automatically get lesser. That means it will get deteriorated because there is a defect. It will give you an indication of the defect. That means indirect indication your non-destructive testing is giving to you. Here it is find out the properties of the material. That means we can find out the properties of the material. Here we can detect or we can locate the defect which is present in the material. Cost of preparation is high because you have to prepare one more sample, and the testing on which we are performing, that is only one sample, one testing. So the cost of the specimen preparation is more, whereas cost of preparation of specimen is less. Why? Because we can directly conduct on the particular running conditions. That why. So correlation between measurement and properties, they are direct. As I told you, here it will be indirect because it will give you an indication about the defect, and as a result you will be getting to know that there is a change in the properties. But how much, we cannot judge from this non-destructive testing. And example, tensile test, hardness test, they are the examples of your destructive testing, whereas in the non-destructive testing, if you go radiography, ultrasonic testing, they are the methods of the non-destructive testing. Clear? So basically this is the major difference which is there between the destructive testing and the non-destructive testing. Let us move forward that what are the objectives of the non-destructive testing. Which are the objectives of this testing? The very first one, to increase serviceability. Go on checking the material. If the defect is finding out, so what you will do? You will rectify that defect. You will try to minimize that defect. So as a result, the serviceability increases. Second one, to increase the productivity. That means see the material. So what will happen, whether there is a defect or not, from that thing you will be able to know that the whole lot of the material is safe enough. So as a result, the productivity of the material will be increased. Due to the above two things, what will happen? It will increase the profit. Why? Because if you are not going for the NDT, your material will fail. But if you are going for the NDT, what will be done? You will be knowing that there is a defect. You will clarify it. So what will happen? That particular machine will work for the more amount of time. That means the profit of the company will be increased. Then to increase the safety. Why? Because whenever the material is having a defect, what will happen? Ultimately it gets failed out. That means it gets stopped. And during the machines, what will happen? There is a risk factor there during the failure of the machine. So for that thing, for the safety issues, it can be increased the safety issues with the help of the non-destructive testing. So these were the objectives of the non-destructive testings. But which are the things which we can find it out with the help of this non-destructive testing? That means which type of the defects which we are going to find it out with the help of this test. That means the first one, surface crack. Any of the surface crack can be found it out with the help of this particular NDT method. Second one, surface irregularities. That means we will study about the surfaces of the material, and if there is a irregularities can also be examined with the help of this method. Internal cracks, we can find it out. Presence of the air bubbles, whatever they are left inside the material, can be detected. Change in the dimension, whatever by whosoever reason there is a change in the dimension, that can be also detected. Presence of any type of the impurities can also be detected with the help of this type of the non-destructive methods. And the creep, fatigue, these are the also thing, whatever the creep and fatigue which are included inside the material can also be find it out with the help of the non-destructive testing. So these are the different types of the defects which can be find it out with the help of the performance of the non-destructive testing. So after the objectives and the types of defect, let us discuss about which are the different types of the non-destructive testing, which are the methods. Just imagine, it is a simple one. The things through which there is no effect on the material that we can use. So the very first method which will be there, that is known as in the first method, that is a visual testing will be there. The second one will be the LPT method. The third one we will be going for the MPT, that is a magnetic particle testing. The fourth one, ultrasonic testing. The last one, radiographic testing. That means these all are the methods. There are certain different methods like acoustic emission testing, hammer testing. These are the different types of the testings which are possible, but these are the majorly used type of the testing, and the last one eddy current. It is a special type of the testing which is included. So we will be discussing the things, that is all these 5 methods we will be discussing in detail in our upcoming lecture. Visual testing, the simple one. What is a visual testing? Let us discuss now only. Whatever the thing which you observe, whatever the sample you observe by your eyes, that is known as a visual testing, a simple one. The screen of the mobile, whether there is a crack on the screen of the mobile, that is observed by your visual testing. So you will come to know that there are cracks on the screen of the mobile. So the time has came that we have to change that particular mobile. Why? Because there are many cracks on the particular screen. So what you will do, either you will replace the LCD of the screen of the mobile, or you will replace the mobile. So that is, it will give you an indication. So that is a visual testing of the material. Clear? So it is a simple one. Just by viewing, if you are coming across the thing that there is a change, that means if you there is an accident occurring in your car, if you visualize the thing, you will definitely come to know that whatever the change in dimensions of the vehicle will be there, it can be visualized. Clear? So this was your visual testing. It is a most one of the simple methods which is included in the non-destructive testing. Why? Because by viewing it, there is no change in the material, or your material is not getting destroyed. Clear? So now let us start with our very first method, known as a liquid penetrant testing. Its short form is LPT. Its another name is also dye penetrant testing, that is DPT. It is one and the same thing. Either you use liquid or the dye, that is the one or the same thing. Let us start the thing, that is, what do you mean by the LPT? The introduction about the LPT. Liquid penetrant testing is one of the oldest and the simplest non-destructive testing method, because it is the most simple method. What is done? It is used to reveal the surface discontinuity or whatever the things occurring on the surface with the help of the colored or the fluorescent dye. With the help of the colored or the fluorescent dye, we can detect the surface of any of the material that is come under the liquid penetrant testing. Now, it is used to inspection for all the non-porous material. Whatever the material, non-porous material are there, that can be easily helped with the help of this LPT. But what will be the principle of liquid penetrant testing? It works on the principle of the capillary action. What is this capillary action? If by going the suction of the material, or whenever your liquid rises up due to the vacuum generated, that particular thing is known as a capillary action, means liquid is getting rising up. You will never see this phenomenon, but whenever there is a capillary action, whenever you are short of the petrol and your friend is near you, and if you want to transfer the petrol from one tank to the another, what you do? You go for the suction of the petrol from the pipe, and then you just leave it. What will happen? Your petrol will rise up and will move into the another tank. So that is known as a capillary action. The setting down, here what we will be doing? We will be going for the setting down of penetrant into the discontinuity is called capillary fall. Means whatever the liquid we are using will get sucked inside the material where there is a discontinuity, and then it will once again rise up from the discontinuity with the help of the developer, and that principle is known as a capillary rise. Capillary fall means it will goes inside the material, and capillary rise means it will once again come back on its surface. Now let us see steps, which are the steps which are followed during the test. But before going for the test, there are 3 bottles of the sprays which are required for the liquid penetrant testing. Out of that thing, let us discuss the thing, that is the first one. Whatever the first one is there, the first one, that is known as an cleaner. The first one is known as an cleaner. Second bottle used, that is known as an penetrant, and the penetrant, and the third one which is used, that is known as an developer. The third one, that is known as an developer. So 3 spray bottle or the bottles are used for this liquid penetrant testing. The very first step that comes, that is known as an pre-cleaning of the sample. whatever the sample you are taking, that should be cleaned. So it is the most critical step. Why? Because if there is a residue which is remaining on the surface of the material, will not be detected. So the false thing can be done. That means a false indication can be given. So for that, what you will be doing, you will be removing all the coatings such as any type of the paint, varnishes, heavy oxide, or even whatever the rust is there, that should be removed. Whatever the dust particles which are sitting on the surface, that we have to remove, or oil, grease, any type of the dirt which is on the surface. So the surface should be cleaned enough. Processes like machining, sandblasting, steam cleaning, that any type of the thing, that all the things should be removed from the particular surface of the sample. After that, what you will be do, you have to use the first one. Okay, so here you will be using the cleaner also for cleaning the surface. By spraying this surface, the cleaner on the surface, what will happen? Any type of the dirt or the dust can be removed easily. After that, you will be applying penetrant. Penetrant, that is having a colored spray. What you will be doing, you will be applying penetrant on the surface of the material. So the penetrant material can be applied in number of ways, such as by spraying or by brushing or immersing the whole part into the bath. After that, the penetrant must entirely cover all the surface to be tested. So that means a colored coating should be done on all the surfaces on which we want to do the test. After that, what we will be doing, we will be allowing, that is the penetrant dwell time. That means we will be allowing the penetrant to get settled down wherever there is a defect. So it is defined as the time taken by the penetrant to settle inside the crack which is to be tested. After that, approximate 5 to 10 minutes we will be allowing it to get settled down. After that, what you will be doing, you will remove the excess penetrant. That means excess penetrant removal. After the 5 to 10 minutes, what will be you doing, we will be removing whatever the excess penetrant is there on the surface, we will remove it. Why? Because wherever there is a crack or the discontinuity, what will happen, the particular penetrant will get capillary fall. That means it will get inside that cracks and all that thing, and other than that it will remain on the surface. That excess material on the surface, we will be removing it. After that, we will be going for the developer application, the third one, the third spray, that is of the white color, we will be spraying on the surface. The main function of the developer is to provide the contrast background. I told you white color. Why? Because in that we will be using a fluorescent color or the pink reddish type of the colors we will be doing. So for the color contrast, we will be going developer which is white in color. Okay, commonly it is white color developer is used. Which are the different types of the developer? They are the dry developer, water soluble, water suspended developers. They are the developers which we are applying. After the non-aqueous developers are also there. After that, what we'll be doing, we will be allowing it to once again settle down. So dwelling time for the, or you can say developing time for the developer. So after spraying the developer, what will be done? It is defined as the time taken by the developer to pull the penetrant out from the defect. Whatever the penetrant which is sitting inside the crack or the holes will be suctioned out from it with the help of the developer. So capillary rise will occur. What will be doing developer? Developer will pull the penetrant which is sitting inside the hole or the cracks. So that is about 2 to 5 minutes will be taken for this developer to give you the result. And after that, developing time, that means the inspection we will be doing inside the visible light or inside the dark room under the UV light. We will be seeing about the thing, that how it will appear. So now, and after seeing or after viewing it, what we will be doing? Post cleaning. That means whatever the thing we have done on the material, that will be removed from the particular sample. The method that is used for the cleaning the material, with the help of the cleaner, we will remove all the sprays and all the developer penetrant from the surface of the material. Now let us see from the figure how this thing appears. This is the first one. You can see here there is a crack. We have removed, cleaned the surface. Liquid penetrant, here you can see we have applied. So whatever the penetrant is there has gone inside the material, that is a crack. After that, we will be removing this top portion of the excess removal. You can see excess removal of the penetrant. Developer we are applying. So what will be doing the developer? The developer will pull this thing penetrant upwards, and while it is coming up, you can see over the surface in the white contrast, your red color or the fluorescent color, you will be seeing the spot where there is this type of the color contraction is seen. There beneath that there will be a defect which is occurring inside the material. Clear? So this was the procedure which is followed in the liquid penetrant testing. Now, what are the characteristics of the developer? The developer should always provide the contrast background. Why? Because it should not be of the same color of the penetrant. It should form a uniform coating over the surface. Why? Because non-uniform coating will sometimes give you the false indication. It should have a high absorption. Why? Because if it is having an absorption capacity, then and then it will get the penetrant, or it will suck the penetrant from the cracks or the things. Developer's viscosity should be less. That means it should not just flow away from the surface. It should be very less viscosity, so that it will be remaining on the surface. Clear? And the developer should be non-toxic. This is the important thing. Why? Because it should not be harmful for the human. And then, which are the different types of the developer? As we have discussed, they are dry developer, water soluble, water suspended, and the non-aqueous developers we are using it. Now comes what are the advantages of this method. First thing, low cost. The 3 bottles approximation of 250 to 400 rupees it will be there. Simple method, very high sensitivity, anything on the surface can be detected. Portable, you can carry the things with you for this LPT test. Suitable for the parts with complex, any complex shapes can be detected with the help of this liquid penetrant testing. Rapid inspection, within a 15 minutes you will get the result about this particular method. Clear? But with the advantages, there comes the disadvantages. So our only surface defects can be detected. The defects which are inside the material cannot be detected with the help of this liquid penetrant testing. We can only find out the crack is there. We cannot find out the depth of the crack. That means we cannot find out the dimension of the crack with the help of this LPT method. It is not suitable for the porous material. Why? Because porous material automatically your penetrant goes inside. So what will happen? It will give you false indication. Surface finish and roughness can also sometimes affect the results. So records of the testing cannot be preserved for the long time. That means only for the temporary thing you can understand that there is a defect. But after 3 days, if you want to see, you have to perform this test once again. That means record cannot be preserved for the long time. So where we can use applications, this method is used for the inspection of the grinding, casting, welding defect. They are also used for the pressure vessel, pipe, weld joints, any of the things. It is used to find out the porosity in stainless steel, aluminum. That means any surface defect can easily find out with the help of this liquid penetrant testing. Clear? So this was your method known as a liquid penetrant testing, and in this lecture we have discussed about the objectives, which are the different types of defects can be found out with the NDT, types of NDT methods, and then out of that we have discussed the first method, liquid penetrant testing, and the other remaining methods we will be discussing in our upcoming lectures. Till then, thank you.